My name is Katherine Rough. I am an assistant teacher at SCAP Head Start. I enjoy photography and working in the classroom with children and volunteering for teen parents. When I was growing up, it was very tough because my parents were very strict. It was very hard. We were very poor, didn't have very much money, but he worked 3 jobs to make sure that we did, and everything that you wanted in life you had to work for. So that helped me to understand that that's what I needed to do. Before SCAP, I was very young when I had my first child. I was a teen parent. It was 2 months before my 16th birthday. My husband and I married when I was 20 and he was 22. I had 3 children before I graduated high school and started college. I worked 2 jobs most of the time while I was in school. And before SCAP, it was, I worked really, really hard to make sure that my kids, had everything. I first heard about SCAP Head Start when my 3rd child, my son, was young. I was working 2 jobs and going to school, so it was very hard to find a babysitter. My mom was my babysitter for the longest time, but she got sick. My other 2 were in school already, and I couldn't afford daycare. My mom couldn't babysit anymore because she was sick. So a friend of mine had recommended SCAP Head Start, and she said that her children had gone there already. And so I went and I met with someone there, and I filled out an application, and we just talked to a bunch of people, and they told me more about SCAP and what SCAP was for, and recommended that I can come down to the main offices of SCAP and get help there too. My experience as a SCAP Head Start parent was great. I had a great family worker, and there was great teachers. My son had started special education in SCAP Head Start. So he first had started with the home-based program. And he met with his teacher once a week, and then we had group meetings where the bus would come pick us up and bring us and meet with other kids, so he had the social interaction. It was the start of his special education, getting him to the point where he needed to be, the learning that we didn't understand before, that he needed different strategies, different things to help him. And then once he was there and he was in the program, we learned new things through the therapists, through the teachers. He's doing really well. His grades are just wonderful, and he loves school, and he loves to do things at school. He walks around the house playing games and doing math and reading and all things that was very hard to get him to sit down to do. He struggled a lot. Once he went to school and they played with Play-Doh and they did new things, he wanted to only do that at home. He didn't want to sit back and do nothing anymore. Some of the positive effects that I have as a parent from SCAP is I made a lot of friends being there. Even before I started working there, I met a lot of people and learned a lot about other people and other programs and what SCAP had to offer. And working with the family worker and the teachers and just administration there, I learned a lot about other supports other than just your family. My employment at SCAP started when my son was still there. He was in the 4-year-old classroom, and my family worker knew that I was looking for a new job, and she said, well, we have a substitute position open. Why don't you fill out this application, and I'll even pick you up to bring you to come bring it back. So I filled out the application, and I went for an interview, and I got the job, which I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never worked with children before. I didn't know I could. I worked with a couple of teachers that were, they were great teachers, great women. And one of them had their CDA, Child Development Associate certificate, and the other one, her bachelor's degree. So we had talked about further education and what, all of us would like to do. And that was the first time I ever learned about the CDA. And SCAP fits into my future goals because they're very encouraging. They're a big support system. They helped me when I was doing my CDA. They helped me with anything I needed, any information that I needed. There was always somebody that I could go and ask, listen, I'm stuck on this. I really need your help. Can somebody help me? And there was always somebody, whether it was the same person each time, there was always somebody that could help me with something that I was struggling with. So in my future goals, I want to go back to school. My hope is to go back to school next school year. I started looking into classes and looking into what exactly I want to do. So it's either going to be my bachelor's or master's, but I want to go all the way, of course. SCAP really, it opened a lot of horizons and a lot of opportunities. So it made it where, yes, I already could work hard. That was taught to me very young, that you just, whatever you wanted, go get it. But I guess SCAP kind of just put stuff in the way there that I could use. Like, they added opportunity for education, opportunity for a job, opportunities for education for my children too, and every year they offer a lot of trainings, and those trainings I use not only for my classrooms. Even though my children are older, I use a lot of that stuff for trainings at home with my kids, and at church with my kids at church, and just any place that I'm going. If I'm volunteering at Alpha Pregnancy Center or the Teen Parents Program, I bring a lot of that stuff with me. So SCAP has helped me to learn a lot and just gain so much information that I can use it and share it with other people. If I had advice for others, I would tell them, no one, I'm trying to think how to say it. No one can be you. You have to be you. You have to put your feet down. You have to go get what you want. You have to allow others to help you. Because a lot of people are so they're so pig-headed that they're like, I don't need help, or I don't want help. Everybody needs help with something, whether it's finding a job or education for your kids or education for yourself or anything. Everybody needs help with something, whether it's a support system just to back you up and say, you're great, you can do this. You need that. No matter what you think or feel, you need that. There's a lot of people who come from, a very poor background or a familyless background. I may have come from a very poor family, but I had a very big family, a very strong family. And so I know offhand that it can be great to have the support from your family, but there's a lot of people that don't. So if you don't have that support, build that support. Find people who can be positive in your life, not negative. Try to wean that out and push yourself to do your goals. Find something that you can focus on that is going to make you want better.